The statue is made of bronze, and on it are 3 heroic figures, 2 males and 1 female. With them are the major firearms that were used by the freedom fighters, that is the AK-47 rifle and the RPG-7, popularly known as the bazooka. Yes, yes. The statue stands for all men and women that participated during the time of the liberation struggle. It also stands for the collective will of the Zimbabwean population to fight for a common cause. Then just below the statue, the black octagonal feature that is there is the tomb of the unknown soldier. It is the grave that is dedicated to all people that died during the time of the liberation struggle, whose identity has not been established. Remember, people died in different circumstances. Some drowned in rivers, some were just bombed in the bush, some died of starvation, some were abducted. And as a result, we do not have a consolidated list of names of all people that died for the cause of independence. So in honor of those whose names we do not know, we have the tomb of the unknown soldier. It is on the tomb of the unknown soldier that the president lays wreaths when we are commemorating our heroes, and even visiting heads of states, they also lay their wreaths on the tomb of the unknown soldier. Inside that tomb of the unknown soldier, there are 2 small graves, 2 miniature graves, and in those 2 miniature graves, there is soil that was taken from places where Zimbabweans died during the time of the liberation struggle, particularly in Mozambique and in Zambia. Here we are talking about places like Chimoyo, Nyazonya, Freedom Camp, Mukoshi, and so forth. The soil was taken and buried here as a way of according those people decent burial, because when they died, it was during the time of the war, it was difficult to accord them decent burial that befits a Zimbabwean man or a woman when they die. And also we are saying it is an African custom that if somebody dies away from their motherland, their spirit has to be brought back home. So by taking the soul and burying here, it is to say we have taken the spirit of those people and we have made the National Heroes Acre and Zimbabwe their final resting place. Then to my right and to my left, we've got walls that were constructed imitating Great Zimbabwe National Monument and Kami National Monument. The architecture and the platforms, they are derived from Kami and Great Zimbabwe, which are both World Heritage Sites, UNESCO World Heritage Sites. Here we are showcasing our heritage as a nation. We are proud of the achievements of our forefathers, particularly in the field of architecture and construction, because Great Zimbabwe and Kami, they are marvelous works that were done by the people. We are also saying when Zimbabwe was occupied and became an occupied territory, we lost our heritage because the colonial government did not want to attribute such works to the local population. So when we went to war and we fought and we attained our independence, we managed to repossess that heritage that had been taken away from us. Then at the back of the statue, at the top there, we've got the Freedom Tower with an eternal flame. That tower is 40 meters high, and at the top there is a viewing deck that allows you to have a panoramic view of the city of Harare. The tower stands for the aspirations of Zimbabweans to be an independent state, to be a sovereign state. And the flame that is at the top is an electric light that switches on during the night. It automatically switches on at 6 p.m. and switches off at 6 a.m. It shows that Zimbabwe as a nation is always alive. It is also a resemblance of the independence flame that was lit on 18 April 1980. And finally, we are saying all people that died during the time of the liberation struggle, who are buried here, who are buried elsewhere, it is only their bodies that are dead, but their spirit is with us in the country, as signified by that light there. Currently, we have 123 heroes and heroines who have been buried here, the National Heroes Acre, and the first person to be buried here was Comrade George Silundika, who was buried in April 1981. But during the same year, in August of the same year, there were reburials of heroes that had died during the time of the liberation struggle, who initially had been buried elsewhere, who were exhumed and were reburied here. These include those you were talking about: Comrade Ebechitepo, Comrade Josiah Magamatungogara, Comrade Jason Ziapapa Moyo, Comrade Leopold Takawira, and many others. Out of the 123 who have been buried here, 8 are heroines. And the first heroine to be buried here was Amai Salim Kabe, who was buried in February 1992. And okay, we have also have individuals of other nationalities who have been buried here. We've got one British, we've got one colored, we also have one Indian who have been buried here. And these have been buried because of the contribution that they made during the time of the liberation struggle. And when the National Heroes Acre was constructed, it was constructed to resemble an AK-47 rifle. Remember, I referred to it as one of the major firearms that was used during the time of the liberation struggle. So the aerial view of this monument depicts a bisected AK-47 rifle facing opposite directions. And the path, the bottom part that links the eastern mural to the western mural, signifies the butt of the rifle, while the murals themselves, the walls, they stand for the handles. The statue that we are looking at is the trigger. So in the great Zimbabwe walls that curve to the right and to the left, they signify the magazine. Each individual burial that we have on the platform signifies a bullet. So if somebody is buried, it's a live round, and if the grave is still empty, it's a blank. Then the path that we use to get to the tower then signifies the barrel, and the tower itself stands for the bayonet. It is very important for the young generation to visit such places or such monuments, because it is in the monuments that we have preserved our history. They are also used for educational purposes, and as I have emphasized earlier on, that history is always important, because it is history that defines a nation, that gives a nation values. So by imparting that knowledge to them, by imparting that education to them, we are also helping them establish their identity at a very early age, and also carry those values which those individuals who participated in the liberation struggles had, and ensure that they are preserved for posterity.